I remember when I was a kid, at a certain point, I didn't really know what my name was yet. And I remember some friends of my parents were over at the house, and they asked me what my name was. And I wasn't sure. Do you sort of remember being in that zone? Sort of like early on. But I didn't know what my name was. And it's like they were like, what, you don't know what your name is? And I was all embarrassed. And can you imagine? I don't know. Name? So I learned what my name was. And now when anyone asks me what my name is, I sort of know what to say. And you spell it like this. So I have an answer to, who are you? What's your name? So sort of the answer of, who are you? Who am I? Who are we? What's going on? And I sort of don't want to say this because it'll sound like imaginative, but on the other hand, it's like, I really think it's true. And so, actually, anything other than this is imaginative. And what's required is to unlearn what we now think and start adopting a new identity. Not a new identity, but a new understanding of your real identity. And so in simple words, and just sort of like try not to react too fast. You're a fourth dimensional conscious being with a radiant light body. Huh? Yeah, you're a fourth dimensional conscious being with a radiant light body. Who are you or what are you? You're a fourth dimensional conscious being, and you look like something. You're not conscious because of your body, but the presence that you are looks like something. And so you're not a body being conscious. This is sort of like what I think is so interesting. You're not a body being conscious. Your consciousness, which looks like something. And again, don't get tripped up by the words, and I'm just going to try and say this fast so I sort of get the idea out there. From a third dimensional perspective, you're a body being conscious. You're an entity in a universe. You're in a world. You're in a body. But from a fourth dimensional perspective, and fourth dimensional, and again, this is confusing at first. I'm still just sort of getting words on this. Fourth dimension is not somewhere else. Fourth dimension is like an enlarged experience of the third dimension, of where we currently are. If you think of a circle, and then a bigger circle, and a bigger circle, and a bigger circle, circles within circles, the first dimension would be like a little circle. The second dimension embraces the first. The third dimension embraces the first two. And the fourth dimension, the way I'm conceptualizing it, embraces the first three, but there's no boundary around the fourth. So there's not really any more than four dimensions in the way I'm talking about it. The fourth dimension is infinity, the not finite context in which everything is happening. The not finite conscious context in which everything is happening. It's sort of like the not finite conscious context is sort of like the sky in which universes are floating, in which stars are happening, in which planets are floating. Except the fourth dimensional conscious experience, which is mind, is like the sky in which the sky is floating. So mind or consciousness is like this huge, infinite, boundaryless context in which its own self-expression is happening. And so it's easy to start getting the hang of this, actually. I got the hang of it the easiest when I was driving a car. I was driving down the road, and and like right now, you can get the sense. As you look out into the world, you are boundless awareness observing manifest creation. Like right now, you are boundless awareness observing the infinite manifestation of the boundless conscious presence. Omnipresent being evidenced. So that's like a big rough draft, which doesn't make sense at first, and it's like, huh? But increasingly it starts making more and more sense. In other words, you're not a body being conscious. Body is not fundamental to your existence. Consciousness is fundamental to your existence. Consciousness is the ground of being, not your physical manifestation. You as consciousness will always be identified, will always look like something, and therefore the new understanding is, even when it looks like you grow old, age, and die, and you drop your body, you shed your body, you act and you go somewhere else, you actually never become disembodied. If anything, it's sort of like a snake shedding its skin. And everybody that's still here sees, oh, the snake shed its skin. But it floated on, it slithered on, completely still who it is. And sort of the suspicion is that if now you can begin to get the sense that, oh wow, I'm not in a lifetime, I'm not going to shed my body. You can't exist without looking like something. Like you're not going to become the invisible man. You as a conscious being will always be evidenced and visible. Therefore, part of the new understanding is to start dropping the idea that you're going to drop a body after a certain age. You're never going to become disembodied. You're never going to become bodiless. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And this will just totally tweak your head. This totally tweaks my mind. The fundamental thought is, oh, you grow old, age, and die. It's natural. That's the way it is. I've seen everybody grow old, age, and die. I see leftover bodies everywhere. Poof. But the individuality that left, they just went to Hawaii. They went to some other place. They did not die in the sense of being extinguished. They didn't go out of existence. You coming here, wherever you came from, it's like no one can see you anymore. Where'd you go? Oh, he died. He left his clothes here. I've still got his stuff. But you came here and you're still here. You're alive and well. You'll always be alive and well. You'll always be alive and well. The new understanding is that there's no such thing as death. Death is a fake. Death means the extinguishment of being. There's no such thing as the extinguishment of being. Especially once you start getting the sense that, wow, I'm not a body being conscious. I'm consciousness, which looks like something. I will always look like something. And as you start shifting into this mindset more and more and more, you begin to get, in glimmers of understanding, oh, I'm a fourth dimensional conscious being with a radiant light body. You're not in a body. I always liked that idea for the longest time. Oh, you're in a body and then you're going to drop it. And everyone was talking about it like that. And then that's what it looks like. But increasingly, the understanding is you're not in a body. If anything, your body is in you as conscious presence. Your body is only here because you're here. It's not the other way around. It's not like you're here because your body's here. You're here, and therefore it's obviously you. But if you're confused about it and you think your body is fundamental, rather than consciousness being fundamental, it's like with the power of your mind, you're giving allegiance to the wrong thing. And so you're fourth dimensional. That means that you're a not finite conscious presence, specifically identified. In other words, consciousness does not have a border or a boundary around it. Consciousness is conscious of things. This thing has a border and a boundary around it. But the consciousness that I am that's aware of this does not have a border or a boundary around it. Just sort of try to let this slip in a little bit. I'm aware of this thing, but the awareness that I am is not a thing. I look down and I see my body and I think I'm a body being conscious. But actually, if you stay with the fact a little more closely, it's like, no. The awareness that's aware of this specific form is formless. Is this close? This is close. Just so you know, this is close. And what seems like a physical body is actually an energetic body, is actually a light body. And I'm only saying this because I see it a little bit some of the time. If I didn't see it a little bit some of the time, I wouldn't dare talk about this. It would just sound like imaginative whatever. But it's happened enough times to where I'm suspicious. I've seen the flash of light in my boat on the foggy sea enough times to where I know, oh yeah, there's the lighthouse, it's right over there. Or you're made out of energy. The energy is light, it glows. You'll have insight into it and then you'll argue with it. Flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop. And especially when you start talking about it with other people, you'll just sound nuts. So mostly don't talk about it with other people until you're a little more confident about it, probably. And practice looking at things, doing the holy instant, what is the truth here really, because that cleans the fog off your glasses to where instead of seeing a physical body, you actually start seeing the glowing light of things more and more and more.